Hi, this is Friday the 21st of October 2022. This is the weekly Democratic Alliance Labour Bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Please share this if you like it, and please give us some feedback. Today we're going to discuss the debacle of what happened at Discom and the letter that's been in the press for over 2 weeks now. It's been a real debacle, and I want to discuss it, and I don't want to condemn Discom at all. What I want to do is I want to just obviously look at the Discom issue, have a look at what caused this, have a look at how government is absolutely screwed up with regard to employment equity, and where do we go from here? Now, everyone knows that the Discom letter has caused trouble for Discom. Everyone knows that there's been threat of litigation. And of course, most people understand that the letter itself had unintended consequences. Well, it's the legislation that really has unintended consequences. The employment equity legislation is social engineering of the worst kind. So thank you for listening to me. It's Michael Bagram, and as I said, it's Friday, the 21st of October, 2022. The Democratic Alliance has put out a statement about this. The Democratic Alliance has said that the letter from Discom was wrong, but understood. The letter from Discom was basically a letter from the Chief Executive Officer with a plea. That's really what it was. The Chief Executive Officer knows that there are massive fines that are coming through from the change legislation, the employment equity legislation, and no business can afford 10% of turnover as a fine. And it could destroy the business, could destroy everyone's job, never mind the job for the few. And so it's a real problem. We've had, obviously, the statement, and forgive me for looking at the statement from the Democratic Alliance, which say this is the introduction of race quotas, very similar to what we had under the nationalist government. These race quotas caused real problems. Look back in the 20s in Nazi Germany, what the race quotas did there for the Jews. Have a look at that carefully. Have a look at how social engineering has destroyed societies in the past. Have a look at how this legislation is going to try and destroy not only the business community, but our society in the future. We need to stop this. We need to make sure that in 2024, the Democratic Alliance can come in and help the business community. Make sure that no one is discriminated against on the basis of the color of their skin. We thought that was over with apartheid. But no, the Minister of Employment and Labour has reintroduced that as race quotas today in South Africa. In 2022, we have race quotas in South Africa. It is ridiculous. It's unfounded. It's uncalled for, and it's certainly bad for business, it's bad for the economy, and it's bad for South Africa as a whole. Now, let me just have a look at it, the Employment Equity Act itself. The Employment Equity Act does say that an employer can utilize the defense of an inherent requirement for the job. There can be discrimination. They call it fair discrimination, and that defense is available for any employer. What we do know is that there can be preferential treatment in terms of the law. Not fair, I don't believe it is, but there can be that preferential treatment. And they need to reach numerical goals. They shouldn't be looking at quotas, which is what the Minister of Employment and Labour is trying to do, and which the DA, as a political party, is going to fight this tooth and nail. We are fighting right now. Unfortunately, Discom went one step further in their desperation, and it's fully understood. The desperation is understood, but they went one step further, and they then said there's an absolute barrier to the employment of white personnel. That's wrong. It's illegal. And they've withdrawn that letter, and hopefully they've had a relook at it. Of course, by going that far, they're showing their desperation, and they're saying that they need to do something quite desperately to avoid the fines and the wrath of the Department of Employment and Labour. Now, what's happened is by putting that moratorium, and the letter from Discom dated 19 September 22 put a moratorium on the employment of white individuals. I presume that's been withdrawn. I know the letter's been withdrawn. What hasn't been withdrawn is the legislation. The legislation's there. It's the bogey bear. It's something that's going to destroy that business community. What we need to do is we need to look at growing the pie, the economic pie. It's not as if that the economic pie is stagnant. It's not as if that we need to somehow get rid of one set of people to make way for another set of people. That's not ever going to happen. It'll only destroy business in South Africa, and we're already on our knees in the economy in South Africa. The Democratic Alliance is not going to allow that. We're going to push, we're going to sensitize the people, we're going to get the business community to stand by us, and we certainly have to possibly look at litigation in due course. So thank you for listening to me. It's Michael Bagram, Democratic Alliance. It's Friday in the October 2022. I really appreciate it. Thank you.